Lisa, half Asian Tarot Queen, and I'm back doing another reading. Just want to do a little reminder that we are doing a special giveaway for the month of March, where every week I'm like, I've got this hat with all the names of all the subscribers, and I'm picking one out of the hat every week. So there's been 2 winners so far, and there's going to be 2 more winners. And actually, I think the next winner is going to be announced in the next reading. So it could be you, because the subscriber list is not that huge. And I should also mention that if you are a subscriber and your privacy settings don't allow me to be aware that you are a subscriber, then like I don't know. So I have no way of knowing who you are, or so I can't put you in the drawing. But let me know, because there's a few of those folks out there. Because definitely, if you're a subscriber, you can be a winner. Okay, so I'm pulling a couple cards from my Mystical Shaman Oracle, which I love. And then I'm also going to pull one from the Spirit Animal Oracle, which I also love. I just got it, so I haven't developed the same attachment to it yet. But, it's getting there. It's definitely got a lot of good stuff in there. But it's interesting because the readings this week have been really interesting, because obviously, the whole quarantine and everything that's going on with the coronavirus situation has for sure impacted the readings, because one thing that's really prominent, I think, is that all of a sudden there oh my gosh, this is hilarious. I was gonna say, like, all the readings kind of shifted towards this like love bent, because people have time to like deal with their personal lives. And like right when I said that, this card fell out, the Spirit Animal, and it's the Nightingale Spirit. Love is all around. It's like Mary Tyler Moore, because I was in Minneapolis, and that's like the theme song for Mary Tyler Moore, in case I'm too old for you to get that reference. But yeah, love is all around. So yesterday I did a reading that was specifically tuning into the story of the Divine Feminine, and I'm pretty sure that love is going to appear in this reading. So there's a lot, I think, shifting and changing in that world too. It's just like everything shifted with work, but now there's a bunch of people with time on their hands, and this issue is coming to the forefront. Okay, so this is interesting, and it's cool because, like even the cards, they kind of like flow together in a visual way too. But okay, so first we got the Wind, and we got the Ghost Dance, and then we got the Nightingale. So the Wind, this kind of signifies, it's like the answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. But this is a card that signifies change, but it's also, like when you face the wind, it's like you're facing some kind of challenge, so like the winds are changing, like obviously there's a lot of change happening, because the whole world is going through this big, change with the whole coronavirus situation. I mean, it's like a profound change that's happening, and everyone in the whole world is being impacted by it. Okay, and then we got the Ghost Dance. So this is kind of like doing a dance with your ancestors, and like our ancestors are trying to show us a lesson, like they don't want us to repeat the same mistakes that we've made in the past. And so they're like inviting you, all of us, to learn from the past, from their mistakes. So it's interesting because there's this big change that's been thrust upon us, and we're being urged to learn the lessons from the past. And then we get this love is all around, like, and it's interesting to me because one thing that's been coming up, and I feel like it came up in a reading a couple days ago which I will link, about this coronavirus thing. And it's just sort of like, you know, the people who are going to rise to the occasion and rise above this situation are going to be, you know, lifted up by community, you know, by the love of people around, you know. So it's just like, it's almost like, you know, in our day-to-day life, you know, and we're all busy and we're all trying to make it and we're all trying to like pay our bills, you know. And so often it's like the people who like come from the heart and are like doing things that are like based on a mission and not necessarily for the money, you know, get left and fall between the cracks, you know. I mean, you could follow my whole vegan cheese empire story if you want to hear my story, but like I can for sure speak to that, you know. I mean, that was a thing that happened, you know. I mean, but this is a moment of reckoning where, like, you know, it's like the community is going to lift up people that would normally get left behind, you know, in this kind of situation. And so it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out, you know. So yeah, I don't know if this is going to be, you know, a love reading about romantic love, or if it's like going to be broader than that, because I think there's a lot more than that going on right now in the collective consciousness. But for sure, oh, and when I split this, I get the Knight of Wands, Mr. Player, you know, we have a whole thread about him, Mr. Don Juan, and the Temperance. So there's going to be a balance. So, you know, it might be both. But you know, the bigger thing that's going around is, you know, it's almost like karma, you know. This is a moment of karma because we all are having to answer to like nature and these larger forces, you know, because it's like, it's real easy when you're like in the day-to-day grind to get caught up in like, you know, all the issues that like are pretty ego-driven and like, you know, man-based or woman-based. I mean, I don't want to be like gender specific, but there are larger forces at play, you know, that we have to have reverence for, and I think they're trying to let themselves be known right now. So, yeah, it's real interesting how things are playing out. But one thing I would say is, you know, karma is a, you know, fill in the blank, you know. It's just sort of like, it depends like on what side of karma you're on, you know, because if you've been oppressed by some like unfair situation for like years on end, well then it can be a good thing, you know. But if you're the one that's like been oppressing people, well then it's the other thing, you know. So it's gonna happen like all across the board. Like there's gonna be all kinds of ways this can play out. So I had a bunch of extra cards flip out, so I'm gonna go with them. But we have this card, the Five of Pentacles, which is a card of lack. And this is like, you know, there's all this abundance inside this church, you know, but there's these people outside and they're like, you know, they're outside in the cold, and this one's on crutches and they're like limping along and they're like suffering, but there's actually all this abundance right there inside, you know. So this is a card like reminding us that we have to like, you know, shift our perspective from like seeing things from a perception of lack, you know, to being open to abundance, you know, like being open to receiving it. And then we have the Queen of Pentacles, which actually, so this queen is very abundant, you know. She's nurturing, she's abundant, she's good with money, she's like, you know, she's a good person to have around. She's just a nurturing, loving, stable, you know, financially viable queen. And then we have the Chariot, the Six of Wands, and the Magician. So this is really like all about like stepping into your power, you know, like taking control of a situation, rising above, and like having victory. Like this person has like gone off into battle and they've come home to this ticker tape parade where they're just like being welcomed back. And then we have the magician, which is like, this is someone who can turn lead into gold. Like you have all the tools you need to create the life that you want, you know? And so, and you've come into your power, you know? So it's almost like there's this transformation from this lack and this suffering, and particularly around this Queen of Pentacles, who this queen was really has been really prominent in the Divine Feminine reading for a long time, which is interesting because that was a thread that we did a reading about yesterday, so that might come up. But yeah, so we're going through this transformation from this to like stepping into our power and manifesting the life that we want, you know? So this is actually really good because there's like all this uncertainty that's happening right now, but it's like a big moment of opportunity because if we harness it in the right way, there's a lot of change and flux that's happening, and this is when we have the most opportunity to like change things, you know, because like everybody's going through the change, and you know, there's just a lot of openings that are coming online right now. Then we have at the bottom of this deck, because I'm going to the Bianco Nero to get general energies, but we have the World. So this is the end of one cycle and the beginning of another cycle. So I'm going to pull some cards from here, but yeah, it's really interesting. I mean, there's been a lot of flux that's been coming through in the readings, and like I think also a lot of drama that's been happening because, you know, lives are being impacted on a profound level. But it's really, you know, like there's a reading that from a few days ago called Opportunity versus Fear, you know. It's really important that you harness your energy in the right way so that you can connect to the opportunities that are out there and not the fear, you know, because, you know, the fear is just going to make you be stuck, you know, and right now it's really important that we like move forward, you know, into the life that we want, because because everything's in flux, and this is a really big moment of opportunity. And like, yeah, in that video I kept mentioning the story of the Kennedys, you know, because there was they actually got rich during the Great Depression, and it was because the patriarch, Joe Kennedy, you know, he invested all this money into the stock market when it was down, and then they ended up doing really well, you know. But at the bottom we have this Nine of Wands. This Nine of Wands has been coming up a lot. This is a Wounded Warrior card. My dad. I don't refer to that reading about my dad. But, you know, this is someone who's gone off into battle, and they've been beaten and bruised, and they've got a bandage on their head, and they're just like, times are tough right now. Like, I'm not trying to downplay that at all. Like, it's not easy. But they still got some fight left in them, you know. It's just like, they don't want to do this anymore, but they're not giving up, you know. And that's kind of, we're kind of all there, right? Okay, so then I got the Eight of Swords. I got the Queen of Pentacles again. So this Queen of Pentacles is really prominent. And then we have the Four of Wands. So this Eight of Swords is like a card of just like kind of being anxious, you know, and it's just like they've got all these swords around them, and then they're blindfolded, but there's actually a path out of this turmoil, but they're not necessarily seeing it because their eyes are closed, you know. And so it's just sort of like, this is reminding you, like, don't get stuck in the fear, because we got to move forward. Like, that's how we're going to move out of this situation. Like, we don't want to get stuck here, you know. It's really important. So this is like a reminder, you know, and that fell out right under this lack, you know. Like, obviously everybody is hurting right now, and we're all having to adapt, you know, but we don't want to get stuck here. We got to keep moving out of this, because, you know, it's like there's a better life ahead, you know? So like, don't stop, keep going, you know? And then right under the Queen of Pentacles, we get the Queen of Pentacles again, which is really interesting. Like double Queen of Pentacles. Like this Queen of Pentacles is like a major energy. So, you know, this can be like a businesswoman, and, you know, that kind of makes sense because, you know, obviously everyone's finances are being affected right now. And so, like, this lady is, like, working hard, you know, to get out of this, you know, which makes sense. And then we have the Four of Wands, which this is a card of marriage, family, stability, you know. So it's just sort of like, yeah, like the Kennedy Empire was built during the Great Depression, you know, but that's because he had like a vision to like move through it, you know. And so this Queen of Pentacles, you know, it's like she's moving towards this, like she's holding her vision through all this turmoil because she's trying to get to this, you know, manifesting the life that she wants, being victorious over circumstance and taking control of the situation. Okay, so then on the next row we have, interesting, the Four of Pentacles, the Ten of Pentacles, and the Five of Pentacles again. So yeah, like obviously times are hard. Like people are suffering. Like it's not easy, you know. But like this Four of Pentacles is a card of sort of like hoarding. Like you're just like afraid. And so you're just trying to hang on to what you've got, you know, because, you know, you don't want to lose any more than you've already lost. But actually, it's like if you want to be abundant, you have to let that go. You know, you have to like be in your flow and you have to keep moving. So like you don't want to get stuck here. Like this is where you don't want to get stuck, right? You want to move out of that energy. So then under this double Queen of Pentacles, we got the Ten of Pentacles, which is interesting because the Ten of Pentacles is a card that's all about dynasty. It's like generational wealth. You've got your abundance, you've got your family, you know, you've got your stability. So this is like a total Joe Kennedy story, right? Like building an empire. You know, this Queen of Pentacles is in the right place and in the right mindset, and she's going to make this happen. And then yeah, she's gonna turn this lack situation into stability, you know, because she's got the tools, and it doesn't take money. It takes like the right perspective, you know. I mean, you have to have like resources, obviously, but the point is like it's bigger than that. Like you have to like have the right perspective, because even if you have all the money in the world and you don't have the right mindset, like it's not gonna matter. Like, so this is important. It's important to be in this frame of mind if you want to like move through this energy. Okay, so I'm gonna pull 3 more cards of guidance from the Radiant Wise Spirit. All right, so this is interesting. OMG. Okay, so at the bottom we have the Ten of Swords. So this is like the end of suffering, you know, like it's like things are really hard right now, but like we're kind of at rock bottom, you know. So the one uplifting thing about this is like there's nowhere to go but up, you know. So we have the Six of Swords, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Devil. So this is interesting because on top of this lack situation, this hoarding, this anxiety, you know, which we're all feeling this, right? Like things are tough. Like, of course, we're going to want to hang on to what we have. Like we're totally anxious and we're feeling like all this lack, you know, and we have to move through this energy to come to something better, you know, and that's what this card is that fell on top of that. It's just like, you know, we want to move through this energy to a better situation. So like this is just, again, like, not to diminish the circumstance that we're in. Like, it's obviously hard, but just keep moving and like don't get stuck here. Like, that's a really important message, I think, that's coming through. And then this Queen of Pentacles, who's like, you know, this Queen of Pentacles, like in the months and stuff leading up to all of this, like this Queen of Pentacles was getting like just crap dumped on her. I mean, and this has been going on for a long time, you know, and she's just been like staying positive, working through it. And like, you know, if you go to the Divine Feminine reading, it's just like, and there was this like totally toxic situation that's been oppressing her forever, you know, and it's just like, but like this Queen of Pentacles, you know, during this time, she's got the Wheel of Fortune. So everything that was bad, you know, it's like she's kind of in the right position to like come through this in a pretty good situation, you know. So that's really good, you know. It's like the whole karma is a blank, you know. Like, she's been oppressed forever by, you know, the next card that fell out, this toxic situation, you know. Like, there was like some crazy stalker situation, like this injustice that had befallen her forever, and like she's been oppressed forever, you know, and she's just been trying to like move through this situation. And like, it's like, oh my gosh, this is maybe going to be her moment, because like this toxic lack, this actually is like this stalker situation. Like, there's a whole thread that intersects with the Divine Feminine thread in her, you know, about this toxic stalker situation that's been oppressing her forever, you know. And like this poor queen has just been like, you know, trying to move through it, you know, trying to stay positive, but that's gonna change, it looks like, into this. So karma is a blank, you know. Like, if this is what you've been dealing with and it's all because of somebody else's like crap, like this might be where you end up. Whereas, you know, if you're the one that's been like doing all this to somebody else, like, it might not end well for you, you know, like, because right now everything is flipping around, you know. So fill in the blank. It depends like where you've been and what you've been doing, you know. So it might be good, it might be bad. You got to look at where you've been and like how you've been treating people, you know. So I'm going to go to this Work Your Light Oracle, you know, because yeah, like we all want to manifest the best outcome for ourselves, you know. And so it's like we got to tap into our light, you know, because that's what's going to overcome this. So I'm going to see what this oracle has to say for us. Oh, okay, that's the card. All right, so we got trust your path. If you knew you would be supported, what would you do? So yeah, this is a moment to have faith, you know, because there is opportunity out there despite how it looks, you know. And you know, yeah, like I said, just I keep drawing inspiration from the whole story of the Kennedys, because no matter how difficult things are, there's always like an opportunity. But you have to keep your eyes open, and you have to like, you know, we got to move through this energy and not get stuck in it, because you can, you know, you can also get really taken down. Like, both things can happen. Okay, this is what the card says. The universe is conspiring. Keep facing your true north. The job is not to pave the path, but to simply keep facing your true north and take one step after the other. If you do this, you can't go wrong. The universe is conspiring. Don't waver or doubt. Use your heart as a compass and put one foot in front of the other. If you follow the invisible trail of what lights you up, you will light up the world without even trying. Most people don't follow the highest call of their soul because they are waiting to see the end destination before they take the first step. If you take one baby step each day, within a year, you will have taken 365 steps in your dedicated direction. If you want to write a book, write a page every day. If you want to change careers, Do one thing every day in dedication to that. Before you know it, in just a year from now, you will turn back and look in awe at how you have journeyed. Keep moving and open yourself up to a whole new level of support and receiving. Things are not going to work out the way you are planning, but if you have a little faith and keep showing up, they will work out even better than you could possibly imagine. Don't micromanage the universe. Trust your path and let your soul lead the way. I couldn't have said it better myself. So, I'll leave you with that. Check in tomorrow and we'll have another winner.